All right, everyone. Thanks for being here. I do have with me the wonderful K-Tool as we'll be going over episode 2 of Crossbar Conversations. How's it going?
I'm excited to get back into it.
Definitely glad to have you here. As it is in week 5 now, 2 weeks left to go here, we will be going over kind of the different standings, but then we'll also be going over as a special treat some playoff scenarios here.
Yeah,
And
that's what I'm most excited for sure.
I think to start it off, though, we will go just overall standings here. You kind of want to start us off with our 3 standings at the moment here?
Yeah, so right away we've got a very solid start. Actually a tie for first place between Taco Bar Heroes and Couldn't Afford FIFA, both sitting at 7-1 right now. Um, they do actually play each other in this upcoming week. Spoiler, the game's already been played. Taco Bar Heroes ended up losing Game 5 OT. I don't know how they lost overtime. It was a weird situation. We're just gonna move on to the next one.
If anyone is curious how that one went, you
Nope.
can always
Nope.
check out the the Twitch stream or the YouTube channel as well.
I think the links are corrupted, but yeah, you can give it a
Yeah.
shot. Moving on though, third place is Godly Instinct, sitting at 4-4. They had a really solid start, but unfortunately recently they've dropped off just a little bit. Losing to Taco Bar Heroes, Couldn't Afford FIFA, and recently Throg. So definitely very solid team, but they just kind of got off the path a little bit. But I have faith that they'll turn it around quickly. And then if we go down the line, we actually have a tie for fourth place between Throg and your own team, Gold Diggers, if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, so our first game started off pretty good, but then hit kind of a bad streak there, and we're back on again, it looks like. But Throg as well, kind of on and off throughout the season so far. But both kind of teams that can pop off at any moment, so we'll see if either of us are kind of able to climb the ranks. But so that would be 4th and 5th, and then unfortunately in 6th we do have the one and only Cat Hunting Spoon.
The only team that has gone to 4 Game 5s and unfortunately couldn't pull it out. Now I don't know if couldn't, or Cat Hunting Spoon just doesn't want to win Game 5s. There's definitely hasn't been any cursing that's going on. Definitely not by me or any other casters. Definitely. But yeah, it's been really rough to watch because you know that they want to pull it out so badly, and they have the skills to do it. Clearly, they've shown. I mean, to go to 4 Game 5s, it just hasn't quite clicked for them. But I mean, as cliche as it is if you take 4 teams to Game 5, you expect that they can get one of them. So I still have faith that they're going to get a win really soon.
Yeah, I think the interesting part is this season, kind of compared to last season, all of our teams here are really solid, and honestly, you could see any team here kind of going all the way in playoffs. So we have a lot of sleeper teams, whereas last year we kind of did have a couple teams kind of on the lower end and some teams that were on the higher end. So that's been a little more fun for me to watch this season, as been a lot more competitive.
Yeah. You think we move on to 2s then, or do you want to do the playoffs for 3v3s?
Let's save the good stuff for the end and move straight to 2s. I know you're anxious.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for the playoffs, as we are in fact winding down. There's only 2 weeks left of the season, so teams definitely looking to finish off strong. But as we scroll down and look to these 2v2 teams, we got in first place Ooga Booga Scary Apes, which is Smegalodon and Silk, who have, for lack of better words, just been dominant this season so far. Their only loss coming to Doge, and I believe it was week 1 or week 2. But yeah, it was in fact week 2. Doge to the Moon actually ended up beating them 3-0. But yeah, Ooga Booga, besides that one game, have looked just about unstoppable. You can see the biggest stat that everyone wants to see is Sam's demos at 59, which there's just no surprise there.
So yeah, definitely 59, and then also leading for team demos with 82.
I don't think that surprises anyone there.
No.
But moving on to second place, we have Faking, which is Delirious and Hemingway. Unfortunately, I had the experience of playing them as well, and it was not pretty. They are such a I'd say they're, the most well-rounded team. You look at goals played, 54-42, extremely close. Assists, 24-21, super close. Saves, 45-43, extremely close. Shots, literally tied at 115, and demos, 20-23. No team is closer in stats.
No, and I guess that honestly it shouldn't come as a surprise since Delirious was our 8th place captain, and then Hemingway was the first round pick. But it's
you can see
kinda...
the MMR. They're only, as I say, they're 11 points difference between them. So it definitely makes sense why they're the most rounded team. But then we have something juicy, and that is a 3-way tie for third place, or third, fourth, and fifth, if you want to look at that, between the Supersonic Silvers, Doge to the Moon, and the Sharks. If you want to walk us through how this mess is taking place.
Yeah, we will go over the tiebreakers in a little bit when we go off playoff scenarios, but kind of Sharks have been hot, but then again, it kind of seems when Cool Cat Mao kind of plays his 3 matches before, it kind of affects his 2s matches almost. So
yeah, definitely hard. I know there's been a couple times where Cool Cat has played 3 series back to back to back, and regardless of whether you win or lose, that's just draining, and especially if you lose, can be just demoralizing. So I don't know how he does it, but he's still grinding, and they're still sitting at a very solid win record at 5-3. But yeah, I personally like to space my games out a little bit.
Yeah, and then we do have Supersonic Silvers also at 5-3, who have definitely proved to be a dominant force with Randy and Urban living, and Urban's been picking up the slack here lately as well, kind of contributing more and more. So that could be a really scary one here in the future. And then also Doge to the Moon.
They're such an interesting team because they had such a rough start. If I'm looking at the schedule right now, I'm pretty sure, I know they started 0-3, maybe even 0-4. No, they did start 0-3, and then they did get a win against Ooga Booga. But this most recent week, getting back-to-back wins on the Smurfs and the Sharks, which was huge, and it was an absolute dominant fashion too. If anyone watched those games, it was a bloodbath. Liam was, or God, I guess should say, was just having a field day, and Radke just pinging it left and right. It was, they were having a fun time for sure. So showing that, took them a little while to get going. Like I said, starting out 0-3, but now they are definitely on a hot win streak right now.
Yeah, and then we also do have a tie for, I believe that's 6th and 7th. Starting off with, well, we do have the Grand Plats, headed by K2 himself, and then we do have as well the Smurfs. Do you want to kind of let us know what the deal is?
I was to say, first of all, we are tied. Unfortunately, as you want to look at like a head-to-head, they ended up having to forfeit. The Smurfs had to forfeit against us, so haven't had a chance to play them, but it's definitely been rough for us. Unfortunately, Titan hasn't been able to play as much as he wants to. Obviously, we know how much time and dedication it takes for this game to, stay at the top, and it's been hard. But I think the more we play, I mean, we turn it around. If anyone remembers last season, the Grand Plats, the older iteration that had a Sami boy, we had a really rough start as well, and then we ended up, doing really well at the end of the season and making a solid run in playoffs. And I could see us doing it again here.
Yeah, that's the scary thing. Like, those teams that don't do well kind of realize that they need to put in more time and then end up being scary towards the last half of the season.
That's the plan.
But then we do have the Smurfs, who at times have shown like they can be really dominant, but for some reason their record just hasn't been showing that lately. Because Baker's Dozen and Spoon are both very talented, but the wins just have not been coming in for them.
Yeah, and I can't speak too much on them. Unfortunately, like I said, I didn't get to play them as they did forfeit. But from what I've heard, Baker's defense can be really, really solid, and Spoon's a great cleanup man. Unfortunately, I believe Baker is going to be gone again this week, so they will sadly have to forfeit again. So that is even going to hurt them even more.
That is tough.
Bringing up the rear is going to be Glass Cannons that unfortunately haven't got a win on the board, which is a little surprising because this exact same team of Royal and Slade was in the league last season. and they were doing exceptionally well.
Yeah, so you wonder if this might be just some different chemistry issues, or I feel like they might be able to figure that out here towards the end of the season and going to
Yeah,
playoffs. We may see a late playoff run here.
indeed, indeed.
But for those of you who are just joining, we are having some crossbar conversations tonight instead of showing some games. But we will definitely have some games coming on Wednesday here for you. But just kind of went over the standings here for both threes and twos. And now for the fun part of the night, we will be going into some playoff scenarios here.
Yeah.
So we'll look at threes playoffs here. So if the season did end today, this is kind of what the playoffs would look like at the moment. We do have a first place tie for Couldn't Afford FIFA and Taco Bar Heroes. And for tiebreakers, we do have first, obviously overall record, then head to head, and then goal differential. So, do you kind of want to walk us through that tiebreaker there?
Yeah. So as of right now, we aren't actually including next week. So if anyone did see the game that Taco Bar Heroes and Couldn't Afford FIFA most recently played, that is actually for this week right now. But just for the purposes, because everyone else hasn't played those games, we want to make sure everyone has played an equal amount of games as far as us doing the stats now. That game is not being counted as of right now. But yeah, so as of right now, Couldn't Afford FIFA is in fact tied with Taco Bar Heroes, both sitting at a 7-1 record. What's interesting is Taco Bar Heroes do have a plus 15 game differential versus Couldn't Afford FIFA has a plus 9. For whatever reason, Couldn't Afford FIFA loves their game fives, as they, as I say, they've done I think 3 or at least 3, maybe even 4 game 5 back to back to back. So that's why their game differential isn't quite as high.
Yeah, so that's going to, obviously in the coming weeks here, that may change the positioning there, but in third place we do have Godly Instinct, Urban Style, coming in a solid third place. And then we do have a fourth place tie for Gold Diggers and Throg. This one's going a little down the path here as they are head to head. They are tied 1-1 with both teams taking a win off the board. But then goal differential, we do have Gold Diggers at -3 and Throg at -6 here, putting gold gold ugh, Gold Diggers at 4th and then Throg at 5th.
Yeah, it's definitely not the spot they want to be at. But I mean, you look at the records. You know, if Throg wins one more, if Gold Diggers win one more, and Godly Instinct dropped one, that's now a 3-place tie. You know, for going for 3rd and 4th, 5th. So it is anyone's game right now. I don't, as far as the standings go, see really anyone besides Couldn't Afford FIFA or Taco Bar ending up at least as the first seed and the second seed. But that 3rd, 4th, 5th is going to be extremely tough going in there.
So yeah, so let's just kind of go over some of these first matches here. So if the season did end today, this 1 and 6 seed here game, who do you think might be taking that one?
Oh boy, is this going to be a future caster curse? What is interesting is, I mean, these teams both recently did play, and Cat on a Spoon, as they like to do, did in fact lose a game 5. But so you talk about the 6th seed took the 1st seed to a game 5. I mean, that shows Cat on a Spoon's resilience, grit, and determination. You have to fight out every single game, but it's hard to argue with the 1st seed. So I want to give it to Couldn't Afford FIFA.
Yeah, that's definitely a tough matchup, but with how competitive the league has been, you never know what's going to happen. But
game 5s, that's all they want is game 5s.
Yep, and then the 3 and 4 seeded game here, like you were kind of saying, that's going to be a real toss-up to see who's kind of playing there, but
and it's interesting because, you know, Godly Instinct, they had such a solid start.
Yeah.
And then kind of like I said earlier, they've definitely dropped off recently. And, you know, you don't know if it's a chemistry issue, if it's just some bad touches that have, you know, just led to bad goals. But, I mean, game differential, they're really close. You know, Godly Instinct's at a +0. Gold Diggers at a -3. I'm just looking at when they actually faced each other.
I believe Godly Instinct did win. I think we've only faced them once so far.
Godly Instinct 3-1 over Gold Diggers. As to say, They do actually face them this upcoming week, so after that we'll have everyone plays each other twice. But as of right now, Godly Instinct did in fact beat Gold Diggers 3-1, and I mean, you're on Gold Diggers. I'll let you take that one. See what you think.
Yeah, and then Urban did ask, can these seedings change? And yes, these are just playoff scenarios if the season did end today, but we do have 2 weeks left here, so definitely could move around quite a bit. But yeah, with that, Gold Diggers and Godly Instinct, um, obviously, we faced Godly Instinct in the beginning of the season when they were really popping off here, so it may be a different story once the playoffs come here.
Yeah, I'm looking at the most recent games, and Godly Instinct did end up losing to FIFA, and they did end up losing to Throg, and then looking back, they did end up losing to Taco Bar Heroes as well. So they are in fact on a 3-game losing streak, which is definitely hard, to come off of. But what's interesting is, Gold Diggers, they were also on a 3-game losing streak before they just most recently beat Cat Hunting Spoon. So both teams, kind of coming off of losing a little recently, but okay. But you have to officially, I want to hear an official of who wins and what the score is going to be.
This is hard not to be biased.
Yes, it is.
I'm gonna say if it was today, if it was like this weekend or something, I might have to take Gold Diggers just because this last game here we're doing pretty well.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say if it ended today, I'd say Gold Diggers, but we do have 2 weeks left, so we'll see.
I think I would agree with that just because you guys did just come off a win, which is definitely helpful. And Godly Instinct is still, like I said, on that 3-game losing streak. I agree. If it was today, right now, I do think Gold Diggers take it, but 2 weeks is a long time, especially, you've got 4 matches and 3s, not including a lot of these guys are still playing 2s and just playing in general. So 2 weeks is a long I mean, it's literally a third of our season. We still have a third of our season to go. So yeah, it's going to be tough at the end of the season. But I think I do agree. I think Gold Diggers, if they play today right now, I think they take it.
Yeah, and then we do have the 2nd and 5th seed here, Taco Bar Heroes, your team, and then we do have Throg. Based on seeding, we kind of have a guess on who might take that, but do you have any extra insight onto what may happen or may not happen?
Throg is such an odd team to play against, at least for me, because you look at as far as MMR goes, they are the highest. You look at Sanders, Hemingway, and Silk are 3.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and I might have to go back and check, but as far as MMR goes, those 3 are the closest. Compared to like having one person really high and maybe the third person being a lot lower. But it's a tough team because whenever Silk and Hemingway, Colonel Sanders, we know is going to do what he does. He's one of the hardest players to play against because you don't know what he's going to do. He's going to get awkward touches on the ball and just somehow beat you. I think that then comes down to how Silk and Hemingway are cleaning up.
Yeah.
We have played them twice. Unfortunately, we did beat them both times. We beat them 3-1, and then looking back, also 3-1. But it is, those are just tough games. It's tough to say who wins that one.
Yeah, so those should be definitely interesting to see. But
who do you think? I want to hear again. I want to hear officially putting it out to the world who you think, just so we can hold it to you later.
That's a tough one. I might see 2 more weeks people figuring out Taco Bar's heroes, kind of their secrets. I think if people get 2 more weeks to kind of figure out their strategies and everything.
But it's also 2 more weeks for Taco to get a lot better.
That's true.
Think about that. And you guys know, I mean, you compare her to the beginning of the season versus now, how quickly she's improving. So 2 more weeks, she might be sitting right up there with us. Randy, I just have 3 GCs in the same team.
I think this one will be a lot closer than the first 2 times, but I think in the end Taco Bar Heroes will probably take that game.
Yeah, I mean, it is hard. What's interesting is, our game differential is +15, which is the best in the league. So we have been known to close out our games quickly, which has definitely benefited us. Obviously, everyone has played us at least once, but we have to play such a I don't know how to explain it, but we have to play a very, very certain
Different.
play style. Yeah, we have to play very different, and it definitely helps because if you're our opponent, you don't necessarily know how to play it because it's not a normal threes rotation, you know. And so I think it's as hard to play versus play against, which we're fortunate that not everyone's maybe necessarily figured it out how to do it.
Yeah.
Besides FIFA, obviously, but yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed that people won't quite figure it out until maybe after playoffs.
We'll see about that one, but those should be some really good games. Excited to definitely see some of those playoff, and we could definitely see some seeding changed here, as we kind of said.
Absolutely. I have faith. What I'm very excited about, looking at these games actually, is upcoming this week. Godly Instinct does face Gold Diggers, which is going to be obviously the battle right there. And then the week after that, it's Gold Diggers versus Throg. And then, yeah, between those two games, that is going to be the battle right there between third, fourth, and fifth.
Those should definitely be good, though. But we will get moving here to our twos playoff scenarios. We have some ties here that definitely put us to work figuring out here. But we do have, topping it off, we do have Ooga Booga coming in as the first seed. And
which
then
I don't think that surprises anyone, honestly.
No.
I mean, you look at the team right there, Salmon Silk. That's just, even on paper, that's such a hard team to face, and clearly they're number one for a reason.
Yeah, then we do have at the second seed, we do have Faking, who as well has been really strong performer this year so far. But then things get interesting when we do get to our third spot, as we do have a 3-place tie here with Supersonic Silvers, Sharks, and Doge to the Moon. Do you want to walk us through that magic there?
Yeah, so let me just pull up a schedule real quick so I don't get anything mixed up here. So right off the bat, Sharks ended up beating Doge to the Moon week 1, and then Supersonic Silvers ended up beating Doge as well. Later, the Supersonic Silvers beat the Sharks. So as you can see, the Supersonic Silvers are now 2-0 against the Sharks and Doge to the Moon. Now, just this most recent week, Doge to the Moon and the Sharks played again. The first time the Sharks beat Doge, but now most recently, if anyone saw on stream, Doge beat the Sharks 3-0. So, but what's interesting is this upcoming week, we have Supersonic Silvers and Doge to the Moon playing, and also Supersonic Silvers and Sharks playing. So as of right now, Supersonic Silvers is ahead, but they haven't played the Sharks and Doge to the Moon for the second time. So this could just as easily be flip-flopped. But like I said, as of right now, Supersonic Silvers are on top, and then we have to go to the game differential, which the Sharks take over Doge to the Moon. As you can see, the Sharks have +9 versus Doge to the Moon have +3. So Supersonic Silvers in third, Sharks in fourth, Doge in fifth. But again, after this week, I have faith that those places are going to be swapped.
Yeah, because 3-place tie, you can't continue that for 2 more weeks here with 4 more games.
No way.
So that'll be fun to see. But then, so let's say we have third, fourth, fifth, and coming in 6 are the Grand Plants.
Yeah.
So what's your plan to move up your seeding here?
So looking at this week, we actually play the Sharks later tonight. So easy claps there, and then we play Glass Cannons later, which hopefully get the dub there. So then we're already up to 4 and 6, and then later we play the Smurfs. Finally, unfortunately, like I said, we did end up having to lose or having to get a forfeit, so we haven't played them yet. But you get a dub there, and then you end off the season playing Doge to the Moon. So you end off with quick, easy 4 wins, and then that bumps us up. So then we'll go from there. We don't have to face Ooga Booga. We don't have to face Faking, so we don't have to face the top 2 seeds, which is at least nice for the rest of the season. So.
I like how you actually have that somewhat planned out here.
Oh yeah. It just has to work out. Trey's already in on it too, so he's gonna lose tonight, and then we'll just go from there.
All right, so then let's see. So at 7th, then we do have the Smurfs, who I was kind of talking about before. That could be a sleeper here. That kind of moves up in the last 2 weeks, but we'll see how it happens there. And then 8th, we do have the Glass Cannons, unfortunately. We'll see if they can kind of pick things up together here and get it going in the last couple weeks. But those last 3 teams too, so like 6th, 7th, and 8th as well, you can see them definitely moving up the ranks. But we'll kind of look at some of the first round games here. Ooga Booga, Glass Cannons. Do you really have any different thoughts than what the seeding says?
I think this one's pretty cut and dry. We've got a 30 game difference in the game differential. I don't think there's any argument there. I think Ooga Booga takes that.
We'll see. That's if Glass Cannons stay there, that will be a challenge for them. Then we do Doge the Moon versus Sharks. This, as they both are tied right now, this could be a really good one here. As
See, this is interesting though, because Doge just played Sharks, I believe, on Saturday, and if you guys saw that game, you know, Doge kind of stomped on the Sharks pretty handedly. So I mean,
that's true.
Obviously, we are doing this right now. So if they were to play, you know, today, I think Doge takes that. But as we know, it depends if Trey gets mad. Let's be honest.
We'll definitely see, because Trey is no stranger to playoffs, as he did last year. What was that? He took the 2s championships, and then I think didn't they make a run in the 3s quite a bit, or lower bracket run, I think.
I know he took it in 2s because he ended up beating my team in the grand finals. But for 3s, I don't remember exactly how far he made it.
Okay. Seems like such a long time ago.
It does, I know. And then you realize that was back in, what, like November already.
Yeah. But then we do have... Yeah. So then we do have Supersonic Silvers and Grand Plats. This one's kind of interesting because there's Randy and Urban versus you and Titan on there, but you and Randy play together quite a lot, so you guys kind of know how each other play, so it's like a little bit different from other games here.
When we did face them, we did lose Game 5 OT. It wasn't an own goal, I will say. But it was Game 5 OT. Like you said, Randy and I do play together a lot for sure, so we definitely know how each other play. But we don't play against each other a lot, which is, I mean, obviously it's very different. But
yeah,
it's like, in my unbiased opinion, do I think we can do it? Yes. Realistically, there's a good chance, but Urban has stepped up so much to help out his team that makes it just so much tougher for us.
Yeah, so that definitely will be a challenge if for some reason the seeding did end up the same. But still be a good game to watch, as could be another potential Game 5. Then we do, to end it off here, we do have Faking and the Smurfs. Very beginning of the season, you might say it'll be close, but lately, right now, you'd kind of just say Faking would take that one pretty easily.
Yeah, I definitely agree that Faking does take that. Like I said, I haven't played the Smurfs, but you just look at the scores, and you know, with Delirious and Hemingway, they're just such team-oriented players, and it clearly shows. You know, based off the results and everything, they've been dominant.
Well, that's what's 2 more weeks left here to get even more chemistry. Can be scary.
Yeah.
But definitely gonna be some great games there to watch, and for those tuning in, those are coming up in 2 more weeks of league play left here, and then we do have the playoffs. But tonight we just had some Crossbar conversations with K-Tool here and I.
Yeah. One thing that might be fun to kind of do is to go over the actual stats and stuff too.
We can definitely go over those here.
It's always fun to see how everyone's doing, you know, as we are 2/3 into the season. I know people care about those numbers a lot, so it's always it's fun to show them off for everyone. Obviously, not everyone looks at these documents as much as, you know, maybe you and I do, because obviously we're the ones making them. But it's always fun to see.
Yeah, well, let's we'll kind of look over the 3s here and kind of just look at some of the standout numbers here. But as you and I were kind of talking earlier, the 2 biggest ones that we were kind of talking about was you yourself with 60 goals, and kind of the next closest one we saw was about like 34. So huge difference there, but definitely I feel like that is, since that's your guys' play style is a bit more tailored towards that attack offense. But then we did have Smegalodon with 101 demos here, which is kind of just the craziest whole stat of the season.
Yeah, the next closest is 74, which is Slade Hunt, and then the next closest after that is 47 with for Cool Cat, which is just, I mean, you know that Smegalodon likes to go for demos. That's what everyone knows him for. But my God, we didn't. I don't think we expected the bloodbath. And you got to think of those 101, like 40 of them came from the one series that was couldn't afford FIFA versus Cat Hunting Spoon. As we all know in that weekly recap, there was 63 demos in one series.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the more crazy series to watch.
Absolutely.
But, yeah, so we kind of have K-Tool leading here with just over with 2.07 goals per game. We do have Smegalodon with 0.9 assists per game. And then Ranny with 1.76 saves per game. K-Tool again with... what was it?
I was gonna say Ranny. Yeah, Ranny and I definitely have a lot of saves because we have to have a lot of saves just with two people. But hey, Taco's, she's still getting up there. Okay, 0.41 saves.
Yep.
I have faith she's gonna get a goal by the end of the season. There's been a couple that literally are going in and then just unfortunately get saved by people. It's bound to go in soon.
And we do then have K-Tool again with 4.76 shots per game. And then, not surprising, is Smegalodon again with 3.37 demos per game.
Yeah.
And shooting percentage, this one's always interesting because it's not always as you think. The higher MMR players don't always have the highest shooting percentage, but we do have, with 45%, we do have Slade Hunt with the highest shooting percentage in threes right now, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But you kind of want to walk us through some of the twos stats here?
I suppose I can do that. As I say, I don't know if you wanted to walk through the team 3v3 stats at all.
Yeah, we can quickly go through those.
As I say, I mean, pretty obviously, talk about heroes who couldn't afford FIFA are tied for win percentage, which would make sense. Taco Bar Heroes do have the most goals, which is 92, and then couldn't afford FIFA. I'd say no surprises, the most assists, just because they're such a team-oriented. As you can see, going through with Salmon, Baker, and Nikki, just one after another, assists. Going on to Gold Diggers, you guys do have the most saves. I'm curious why you think that is.
I do know in some of our earlier, kind of the first couple weeks, we did play more defensive strategy, and so I know that we got spent a lot more time on our side, but we kind of capitalized on counterattacks more was kind of our goal. So sure. I know we picked up a lot of saves those first maybe like 3 or 4 games, but we've been kind of switching it up lately, so we'll see if that stays up there.
Yeah. Continuing though, we have Godly Instinct with 253 shots, which it's really crazy because you look at all these teams, how close you are. You have some that are almost undefeated and some who haven't gotten a win, but you look at the shots and everyone's within about 50 shots of each other.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Going through, I'm just gonna skip over the demos. We know it's gonna be couldn't afford FIFA, but what's interesting,
it's close though.
It's a lot closer than I thought it would be. But it's a two-way race for first place. Everyone else is just kind of like, yep, you guys go do your thing. Goals a game is going to be Taco Bar Heroes with 3.17. Assists per game, going back to couldn't afford FIFA, again, being a very team-oriented team. Saves per game, again, Gold Diggers do have that. Shots per game, this is really, really close as well. Just under 8 is couldn't afford FIFA. Demos per game, no surprise there, is couldn't afford FIFA. And then shooting percentage is the Taco Bar Heroes. So I'm curious why you think Taco Bar Heroes have the highest shooting percentage. So I have my guesses, I think.
I know, because you and Randy do make up the majority of the shots on that team, and
Hey, Taco
I said
has the
majority.
only.
I said majority. I didn't say all.
She's got two.
But you guys do have a bit more time in the game, and as you do get more time in the game, generally the result is to have a little bit better shooting accuracy. So that's kind of my guess here, is since you guys do have a bit more time in the game, you have learned to put on more quality shots. Otherwise, maybe not go for them, but keep possession instead of putting on the shot.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. All right, now I'd say we can probably move around to some 2v2 stats, which is always
Right.
juicy to look at.
Yeah, so let's see. Starting off here, we do have Smeglodon with 73 goals, which
By one. He beats
by
out
one.
Liam by
Ooh.
one goal there, which is
close.
very close.
Yeah, kind of. I
indeed.
guess just have those two, and then it looks like the next highest is Randy with 50, or no, Cool Cat Meow with 56. So a little.
There's a tie between Cool Cat and I at 56.
Yep. It's a little bit of a jump there.
Moving on to assists though, Silks with 41, which is quite a bit higher than the next. Well, what's funny is you look at second place, and who is it? It's Sam with 27. It's his own teammate. So the amount of passes and just assists they have it's just been absolutely ridiculous.
So I think some teams here might want to take lesson here on what may get you to that first spot here. Won't always be the solo plays.
But moving on, we have saves. We've got Randy with 82, fairly respectively. Looks like the next closest is going to be 67 with God. And God also is tied for the highest shots with Smegalodon at 156.
That's crazy.
Do have quite a few people right behind him, with Trey and myself at 139 and 138. So you're definitely gunning for that spot. Demos, again, who could guess?
Yep.
Is in fact Smegalodon. But actually, Trey is definitely he's coming up. He's at 46 right now, so definitely not to be counted out. And I could see maybe if Trey gets really mad, he could just take that spot on pure spite.
That's definitely possible. But we do then have goals per game, though. We do have Liam or God here at 2.4 goals per game. Kind of besides, it looks like K-Tool, yourself, and then Smegalodon, kind of a big jump after that. But
yeah, wow, there is actually quite a big jump after that. You're right.
Then assists per game, we do have Silk at 1.28.
And there's another big jump.
Oh,
looking
jeez.
through. Yeah, we go down to 0.81 from Baker himself. So again, just going back to Silk and Sam, just the assists. Yeah, it's pretty insane. Then we go to saves a game, which Randy makes sense as he does have the most saves in the league total, so it makes sense he has the most saves per game. And then you go to shots per game. It is in fact myself with 5.52. But right behind me is actually God himself at 5.20. So definitely a very close battle. There's quite a bit of drop off after that, but it's definitely a two-way battle for first on that one.
And then we do have a 1.84 demos a game, the one and only Sam.
I bet I can guess.
And then shooting percentage is actually kind of crazy. At 47%, almost putting in half their shots. It's the Hemingway. Which, if you actually look, it kind of seems like in twos the shooting percentage is a lot higher, but I guess if you do think about that, one less player.
It makes sense. Yeah, you got one less player. You know, it's one less person who can play goalie, so it makes sense that the shooting percentage is definitely higher as well. But moving down to the team 2v2 stats, Ooga Booga obviously has the highest win percentage. You look at goals again, Ooga Booga. Assists, Ooga Booga. It's crazy how dominant. You look at, okay, hold on. We're just gonna look across the stats because I didn't even realize this till right now. They have the most goals, the most assists, the most shots, the most demos, the most goals per game, assists per game, shots per game, demos per game. That's just absurd.
Yeah, that... I don't think I even realized that yet, but that's crazy.
Yeah, the only ones that they don't have are saves and saves per game, which is going to the Supersonic Silvers, and then shooting percentage is going to be Doge the Moon.
They're only
Yeah.
1% behind.
Yeah, that went a lot faster than I thought it was going to, but I think the team stats just show how dominant Ooga Booga, and rightfully they deserve to be in first place.
Yeah, we'll definitely see those numbers changing quite a bit here in the next 2 weeks, but definitely fun to come and hang out here tonight. Do encourage everyone here to come watch the games on Wednesdays. We'll have some great ones going. But
so I'm gonna ask you one, or I guess kind of two more questions. I would love for you to pick one dark horse team for 3v3 and 2v2. Who do you think is gonna make a maybe surprise run in the last 2 weeks or in the playoffs? Just one team. Who do you think could do it?
We'll start with threes here first.
Sure. And chat, obviously, feel free to tag along, and I'm really curious who you guys think the dark horse is going to be. I definitely have my pick, so I'm curious if we come to the same conclusion or same guess, I should say.
For threes, I'm kind of torn between Cat Hunting Spoon and Gold Diggers.
Sure.
Gold Diggers kind of just we're figuring out here, but then Cat Hunting Spoon are so close that it's kind of scary how close they are to some of these better teams.
Yeah, which is interesting because I actually have Throg as my dark horse. Ooh. So I think the Throg is definitely a chaos team, and they definitely thrive in the chaos. So it's just if they can, capitalize a little bit better than their opponents, then I could see them making a run. I just hope it's not against my own team, as they are as of right now, the seed that we'd be going against. But yeah, threes is going to be interesting. But I want to hear some twos.
All right, twos. I'm really thinking if Smurfs can just pick it together here, I think they could be the dark horse.
Ouch! But it's fine. It's fine. What's interesting is even before this last week, I was actually thinking it was going to be Doge to the Moon. Obviously, they did get 2 wins right now, so now I can't pick him as much of a dark horse, because now they are in fact tied for 3rd. But
yeah,
I could definitely see the Smurfs. I kind of want to go with them as well, just because I can't pick myself. So.
Well, you can, but that would be.
Yeah. I think Doge to the Moon has a really good chance of going far in this tournament, going to the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely. If they can keep up their hot streak here, it'd be really beneficial for them.
For sure.
But, okay, I guess I'll ask you here one last question. What like top-seeded team right now do you think may end up losing to a lower seed?
Wow, you're just throwing the biggest caster curse out to the universe. My God.
Because no one else would have any effect on it.
That is true. So, really, as far as 3v3, I'm gonna skip threes. Actually, I'm gonna start with twos. Look at this. You want to talk about the biggest upsets? I would have. I think I would go. The upset is, we did have Smurfs as our dark horse, so I got to go Smurfs, beating out the 2nd seed Faking to be the upset for twos.
I could definitely see that one as kind of similar made up teams here.
And then, yeah, it's very similar teams, and that's why it's crazy to think that one team is in 2nd, the other one's in 7th. That could very, very easily be flipped. Yeah. So that's why, again, I think Smurfs dark horse, and I think they could be the upset. Moving on to threes. This is the hard one. I'm actually gonna go with an odd one here. I'm actually gonna go Godly Instinct, and I know they are the 3rd seed. But what I mean by that is I think they're going to go through and they're going to upset a lot of people just because they haven't been playing the best lately. Mm-hmm. But I think they're going to get hot. I think they're going to, upset Gold Diggers. Maybe they can move forward and they upset Taco Bar Heroes, and they might even upset FIFA, as they did in fact already 3-0 couldn't afford FIFA earlier in the season, and they can definitely do it again. So
That's what I was gonna kind of get to there. They have taken down one of the big two, so we could see that in the playoffs here.
the NDSU Big Two. I like that.
But we will definitely see here. But any last words or predictions here at all?
It's definitely tough. I think it's definitely going to determine this upcoming week, especially for twos with Doge, Supersonic, and Sharks all playing each other. I think that's going to be just a huge shakeup there. I know, like I said, Sharks do actually play my own team tonight. I think like at 8:30. So we'll see if Trey or I want to stream that one. But yeah, it's Doge, Sharks, and Supersonics. That is what I'm most excited for 2v2s in this upcoming week, I think.
That'll be, yeah. So that's my favorite part about this. Just we have so much closer battles here this year. Because yeah, we got a 3-way tie and then a 2-way tie in our twos, and then two 2-way ties for threes here, with first and fourth place.
But yeah, is there any other parting words you can think of? Otherwise, I think we've wrapped this up pretty dang well, going into the final stretch of our season before we do in fact get into these playoffs.
No, I think that was definitely fun tonight. Definitely appreciate you coming here and hanging out.
Ooh, and one little tiny spoiler, you guys. Dunk, I believe, has purchased a webcam, if I'm not mistaken. So
yes, we'll see.
Hopefully, hopefully pretty soon it will be Dunk. Let me see if I'm doing this right. Yeah, Dunk to this side of me, I think. Maybe it's this way. Yeah, so hopefully we'll have both of our face cams soon if I am casting with them. So you guys will actually be able to see who the famous Dunk is. And then I believe we are, after playoffs, planning on doing a little get-together for everyone in the NDSU club. I think location is to be determined, but do we have a potential date locked yet?
We don't have one locked. I think we're kind of looking for, I believe that week kind of after end of playoffs, but we don't have anything locked.
I believe it's either the 24th or the 25th of April, that Saturday and Sunday. We just haven't quite figured out what it's going to be. But keep that, open, you guys, as we do want to, meet a lot of you guys. Obviously, some of us in the league won't be able to make it, like Liam and Randy and Junior Titan, who are not even in the state. But hopefully we can get a lot of the alumni and the league players to come out and do a little meet and greet.
Yeah, definitely should be good here. But everyone, make sure you come hang out on Wednesday. Then do check out the YouTube channel if you do want to see any recaps of anything, as well as some famous or infamous goals we do have. But thanks everyone for hanging in here tonight, as we will be back later.
Yeah. All right. Good night, everyone.